Hi, I'm Dakota, marketing executive by day, exhausted mom-to-be by night. At least that's what I should be. 8 months pregnant, and instead of nesting in our renovated colonial, I'm standing in the pouring rain, staring at changed locks and a husband who changed his mind. You can't be serious right now, Marcus. This is our home. I'm carrying our baby. I never wanted this, Dakota. You pressured me into it. Marcus stood in the doorway, his designer watch glinting under the porch light. I've had time to think. This isn't the life I want. 5 years of marriage, 2 years of trying for a baby, countless doctor visits, all erased with a locksmith and a casual dismissal. Looking back, I should have seen the signs. The way his smile tightened when I showed him ultrasound photos, how he started missing prenatal appointments, always with a convenient work excuse, the growing distance in his eyes when we discussed nursery colors. I met Marcus at an industry mixer 6 years ago. He was charming, ambitious, a rising star in real estate development. I fell for his confidence, his grand plans for our future together. We were the power couple everyone envied. Me climbing the corporate ladder at Thompson Marketing, him expanding his development company across 3 states. The early years were a whirlwind of success and shared dreams. We traveled, built our careers, and talked about starting a family someday. That someday became now after a romantic anniversary dinner, where Marcus surprised me with a stack of baby name books. Let's build something more permanent than buildings, he'd said. Now here I was, watching rain drip from my maternity blouse as he treated me like an unwanted tenant. At least let me get my things, I pleaded. I'll have them packed and sent to your sisters. He checked his phone disinterestedly. I've already texted Sarah to come get you. My sister Sarah had warned me about Marcus's controlling tendencies years ago. He likes the idea of you more than the actual you, she'd said after our engagement. I dismissed her concerns as protective sister talk. Now her words haunted me as I watched my husband transform into a stranger. The changes had started subtly. 3 months into my pregnancy, Marcus began working late more often. Weekend trips to check properties became frequent. His excitement about the nursery plans evaporated, replaced by terse comments about budget concerns, despite our comfortable financial situation. This is illegal. You know that, right? My voice cracked as I cradled my swollen belly. We'll let the courts figure it out. I've already spoken to my lawyers. Figure what out? That you abandoned your pregnant wife? That you trapped me with a pregnancy I never agreed to? My knees nearly buckled. We planned this baby together. You came to every fertility appointment. You held my hand through 2 miscarriages. The headlights of Sarah's SUV illuminated the driveway. Before she even stopped the car, I could see the fury on her face. She was still in her hospital scrubs from her shift as an ER nurse, her dark hair escaping its ponytail. What the hell, Marcus? Sarah stormed up the walkway. You're locking out your pregnant wife? Have you lost your mind? Your sister is leaving. I've decided this marriage is over. He stated it like he was canceling a dinner reservation. Jennifer, my best friend since college and now a family law attorney, was already waiting at Sarah's house when we arrived. Her normally perfectly styled blonde hair was hastily pulled back, and she had clearly come straight from dinner, still wearing a cocktail dress under her raincoat. I came as soon as Sarah called. This is beyond outrageous. Jennifer hugged me carefully. We're filing emergency orders first thing tomorrow. He emptied our joint account. I showed them my banking app, hands shaking. $70,000. Gone. Jennifer's face hardened. That's financial abuse. We'll add it to the filing. I'm calling Judge Gardner tonight. She takes domestic cases like this very seriously. My phone buzzed with a text from Michael, Marcus's business partner. We need to talk. There's more happening than you know. Sarah squeezed my hand. I always thought something was off with Marcus, but this is sociopathic. I stared at the ultrasound photo on my phone. Our daughter, due in 4 weeks. I don't understand. He helped choose her name, Olivia. He painted the nursery himself last month. Spent an entire weekend getting the clouds just right on the ceiling. People don't just change overnight, Jennifer said, typing notes into her tablet. Something triggered this. Michael arrived looking haggard, his usually immaculate appearance disheveled. His tie was loose, and his eyes held the exhausted look of someone who hadn't slept in days. "I'm sorry to come unannounced, but you need to know the truth. Marcus has been seeing someone, a client. Her name is Rebecca Thornton. They've been together for months." The room spun around me. "Rebecca? The investment banker from Westridge?" Michael nodded grimly. "There's more. I think they're planning to move company assets. I found paperwork, lots of it. Suspicious transfers, shell companies, everything." That night, contractions started. False labor, the doctor called it. Stress-induced. As I lay in Sarah's guest room, my daughter kicking restlessly inside me, I made a promise to her and myself. Marcus would regret the day he locked us out in the rain. The next few days revealed the full scope of Marcus's betrayal. Jennifer discovered he had liquidated 3 investment accounts and transferred nearly $500,000 in marital assets offshore. But that was just the beginning. Michael worked through nights, digging through company records. "Rebecca isn't just his mistress," he explained, spreading documents across Sarah's dining table. "She's been using her connections at Westridge Investments to funnel deals to Marcus through shell companies. They've been planning this since right after your pregnancy announcement." "Look at these dates," Sarah pointed to email timestamps. "The first meeting with Rebecca was 3 days after you told him about the baby." Jennifer studied the financial records. "This goes beyond divorce fraud. They're running a sophisticated scheme to hide assets and defraud investors." Marcus, meanwhile, launched a smear campaign. He posted on social media claiming I had trapped him with a pregnancy he never consented to. He contacted my company's HR department, suggesting I had embezzled marketing funds for unauthorized medical procedures. But his desperate attempts at character assassination backfired spectacularly. Friends and colleagues remembered his excited announcements about the baby, his detailed nursery plans, the gender reveal party he insisted on hosting. Screenshots surfaced of Rebecca bragging in industry forums about eliminating competition through personal connections right after my pregnancy announcement. The confrontation came to a head when Marcus stormed into my meeting with corporate counsel, Rebecca trailing behind him in designer heels. "You think you can destroy everything I've built?" His face contorted with rage. "That baby isn't even mine! You've been sleeping with Michael!" The room fell silent. I stood up, one hand protectively over my belly, surprising myself with my steadiness. "Is that your new story, Marcus? First, I tricked you into a pregnancy you wanted and planned for. Now it's not yours? Which lie should we believe?" "You're ruining everything," Rebecca interjected, her perfectly made-up face twisted with anger. "A plan that included fraud?" I asked calmly. "Or just stealing my husband?" Marcus lunged toward me. "You manipulative bitch!" Security intervened as he continued shouting threats. "I'll make sure you never work in this industry again. I'll take everything." The incident, captured on multiple phones, proved to be his undoing. The board suspended him pending investigation. Major clients, including Harrington Developments with their 8-figure contract, began pulling out. In court, 9 months pregnant and due any day, I watched Marcus's confidence crumble as Judge Gardner reviewed our evidence. His expensive suit hung loose on his frame, dark circles shadowing his eyes. "Mr. Wells," Judge Gardner's voice cut through the courtroom, "attempting to frame your pregnant wife for embezzlement while you were actually committing fraud is beyond mistakes. This court takes a very dim view of spouses who abuse both their partners and their fiduciary duties." The ruling was comprehensive. Full custody granted to me, substantial financial settlement including our home, restraining order against Marcus, and referral of evidence to the district attorney's office for criminal investigation. 2 days later, I went into labor with Sarah and Jennifer by my side. After 6 intense hours, I held my perfect daughter Olivia, 7 pounds of pure determination. Looking into her eyes, I saw no trace of the man who had tried to deny her existence. The fallout continued as I recovered. Marcus took a plea deal. 18 months for financial crimes, plus substantial restitution. Rebecca was fired and blacklisted when the SEC opened an investigation. Their carefully constructed fraud scheme had destroyed both their careers. 6 months later, on my last day of maternity leave, I received a letter from prison. Marcus begging for forgiveness, claiming he'd changed. asking to see his daughter. His words, once so convincing, now rang hollow. I tore the letter into tiny pieces without responding. That evening, I sat on my porch swing with Olivia, watching the sunset over the neighborhood where we would build our new life, without him. Some people don't deserve second chances, baby girl, I whispered, breathing in her sweet baby scent. And that's not being unforgiving, that's being smart. Michael had restructured the company, buying out Marcus's share for pennies on the dollar. Sarah had moved nearby to be close to her niece, her weekend visits filled with baby giggles and sisterly support. Jennifer had become a fierce advocate for financial abuse victims, using our case as an example in her presentations. And me? I was thriving. Each day brought new joys with my daughter, new successes at work, and new appreciation for my strength. I was the woman who had faced betrayal with courage, who had protected her child with unwavering determination, who had emerged stronger from the storm. The best revenge wasn't just surviving. It was flourishing in the life he tried to steal from us. As Olivia dozed in my arms, I smiled at the sight of Sarah's car pulling into the driveway, bringing dinner and love and the warmth of real family. We had built something beautiful from the ashes of Marcus's betrayal, and no changed locks could keep us from our happiness now. Now that Dakota's revenge story has ended, I have a question for you. If you were in Dakota's position when she received that letter from Marcus begging for forgiveness from prison, would you have given him a second chance to be in his daughter's life? Or do you agree with Dakota that some people don't deserve forgiveness regardless of how much they claim to have changed? What would you have done differently if you were in her shoes throughout this whole ordeal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed Dakota's journey from betrayal to triumph, please hit that like button and subscribe for more compelling stories like this one. Your support helps our channel create more content you'll love.